All right, good evening, everyone. It is Monday, March 10th. It is 6 o'clock. April 10th. Whoa, yes. I'm still on spring break time, I guess. It's now the Community Consolidated School District Board of Education board meeting. Can we have a roll call, please?
Espino, absent. Lang, absent. Mencia,
Here.
Petrielli, absent. Reed,
Present.
Sager, present. Schumacher.
Present.
All right.
Okay, can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And I'll ask our junior high AVID students to lead us off.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight we have all three junior highs here. We're going to be getting a presentation for the AVID. For parents that are here to watch their kids, you want to come to the side, and if you want to take pictures from the side, you're more than welcome to. We encourage that actually, to take pictures for your students that they're presenting. With that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Robinson and Dr. Perdomo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who are not junior high principals.
No, we're not. We're not.
No, but good evening. We are Dr. Robinson and Dr. Perdomo, so we get to oversee our AVID program here at our junior highs. Excited that we got to bring this in for the first year in our district. So we serve as the district directors in supporting all of our students and our principals, but they do all the work. So they're going to be presenting and highlighting that.
That's right. We are going to start off, though, by showing you a fabulous video that was recently developed here about AVID in District 59. And before we get started, just a reminder that AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And that's what our children show, individual determination in being successful in their studies. So I don't know how to start this video. Okay, excellent.
AVID is really different from my other classes because I can really learn in that class of how to be a scholar, how to act professional. I feel like AVID is a really important class for me.
AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. This is a course offered to junior high students during their when or what I need period. AVID is a research-based program that emphasizes college and career readiness skills. And since 1980, it has been implemented in over 5,600 schools across the country. Students learn organization and study skills that can support them in any class and their life in general.
We learn different forms of taking notes to understand the topics we do and how to write about them. Right now we're doing argumentative writing. We use that in most of our classes, social studies, science, and ELA.
They also learn how to engage in rigorous work through the use of what is called Wicker strategies. Wicker stands for writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. These strategies help students learn to think critically and take ownership of their learning.
I want to be a musician, and I think AVID is helping me with that. So I can talk to bigger crowds and I can speak more professionally in front of other people without messing up.
Write better, yes. Even speak better, actually, because we do discussion circles. Everyone says their own opinion. You go back and forth, and even, no matter what side you are on a topic, you're able to say that opinion.
They have to think critically about what they're doing. They have to be challenged in ways that they've never been challenged before. We host family nights and guest speakers to help connect students to their community, engage in projects to contribute to and improve our community, and plan field trips to apply hands-on experiences to these lessons. And I think that this opportunity provides them so many skills that are going to help them succeed, both in high school and if they choose to go to college and whatever career they feel that they want to go to.
And special thank you to Mr. Gray and Mr. Sampson for their work in developing this video. It's fantastic, and we're so excited to have many of them here tonight to talk in person. There we go. Don't give me one of these. Go ahead.
So part of the AVID program is we have 3 aspects that we're going to highlight today. So we're going to highlight the student community, the academic rigor, and then our college and career readiness. So those are the 3 aspects of AVID that you're going to see showcased.
And now we'll ask our AVID teachers and students to come on up, and principals to come on up and talk more.
All right. Hello, Board of Education. I'm Mike Wheatley. I'm the principal at Friendship Junior High School. I've had the pleasure of being a part of really what we see as starting out the AVID program is our AVID family, our AVID community. This is not just Friendship Junior High. It started from the initial training of this program. It came into the selection of this program, and it came to what you're seeing tonight of us presenting as one AVID family. So we have done a lot of work, not just at Friendship, but the other 2 junior highs to build this sense of community. And you're seeing here is the t-shirts that we all designed, that we have AVID days over at Friendship, but we're going to invite up our AVID students and Miss Potter and Miss Linsner also to talk a little bit about how we form community and how we are an AVID family at Friendship.
Hi, my name is Diana Garcia, and I'm an AVID Excel student. We designed t-shirts for our AVID because they represent our program and show our AVID spirit. We designed them by sketching them on paper, then we designed them using Google slideshows. I was inspired to design the shirt the way I did because of my brother's artwork inspired me. I like designing my own soccer shirts. My classmates voted on my shirt as a winner, and I won a certificate and a Dunkin' Donuts gift card.
Get up close to your microphones.
Hello. My name is Sharon. I am from Friendship's first AVID elective class. One thing we do in AVID is Fun Fridays. We partner up and play games. We also do STEM activities. Like once, we put a long piece of tape on the ground and lined it up on we put it on the ground and we lined up in a certain order and had to swap the order without leaving the piece of tape. We also do some getting to know each other activities. And in AVID, we do some cheers like boom, boom, clap, roller coaster, and cheese grater.
You did?
Great.
Hi, my name is Zuzana, and I'm in 6th grade, and I'm from Friendship. Our AVID classes had a family potluck night on November 17th. Families brought in different foods from their cultures for everybody to enjoy. Students also presented their future self-project slideshows. Let me explain how we made the slideshows. First, students figured out what career they wanted to have. After, students researched things about their careers. For example, how much experience you needed, salaries, and opportunities to advance. They put all that information into slideshows and presented it at the potluck if they wanted to. Thank you.
Hello. Good. I want to talk to you a little bit about how we are developing this sense of community at Grove Junior High. So we're developing this community of scholars. And how do we do this? So a big piece of this program is building that confidence. The confidence is a big piece. And so how do we do that? By working daily in academic language, in language fluency. And we also have celebrations. We also have, we celebrate academic successes, and we also bring speakers because the speakers are role models for our students. So it just happened to be that we have Mr. Mancilla as one of our guest speakers at the beginning of the program. And it was really great because he talked to the kids about, it was one of the lessons was about perceptions and stereotypes. And so he was great about, talking about his own experiences. So it was a big highlight for our students. We are also lucky to have students from District 214 that are working as mentors for our students. So, and it's that daily communication, it's very key because our high school students can tell our kids, well, this is what you need to be successful in high school. So it's been really great.
Hello, my name is Wes Smith. I'm from Holmes Junior High, and I teach the AVID elective program for 7th grade. And in addition to the community building that we do for AVID, we also embed a lot of academic rigor. And the way that we do that is through the Wicker strategies provided through AVID. This is a key component for developing skills that are necessary for success both now and in the future as a future high school student, future college student, and in their future careers. Wicker stands for writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. As a few examples, we have developed student proficiency in Wicker through advanced research projects, Cornell and double column notes, and also student seminars where they get to collaborate with one another. As we continue developing AVID at CCSD59, we are also pushing these strategies into core content classes, such as right now, we are studying to incorporate these in social science and science classrooms.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alvin. I hope you're all doing well. A Socratic seminar is where a select group of people talks about a debate in a circle with the evidence they gathered while being watched by another group of people taking notes on them. Philosophical chairs are about two groups of people talking about one side of a debate where they convince the other group that their side is the correct one with the evidence that they have gathered. The purpose of them is to talk about subjects without being biased and only using the evidence they gathered. I enjoy participating in them because I like to talk about new things that I have discovered, so this is a great opportunity for me to practice my communication skills. The topics we have discussed so far were if social media was addictive and bad for people, if you can sue a rooster, and if schools should make students wear school uniforms.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Santini. I'm the 8th grade AVID teacher at Holmes Junior High. All 3 junior highs hosted their first annual family game night, and this was a real live version of the Game of Life. We were very fortunate at Holmes. We had over 25 guest speakers come in, everything from engineering, medical field. We even had a pastry chef. So we had everything for the kids to really explore. That crossed over into our core, into our AVID curriculum, and I will talk a little bit more about that, but I think it'd be best if you heard from a couple of our students. So I'd like to invite up Amy and Ella to talk about our Game of Life family night.
Hi, my name is Amy, and I am a student from Holmes. My experience in the Game of Life was really interesting because I got to learn about different careers that I might choose for the future. And I got to talk to those people who had those careers and what they thought about them.
Hi, my name is Ella. I'm an AVID student at Holmes. And the Game of Life family night was really interesting for me because I got to meet a bunch of people from careers that I've never heard of before. And it was really cool because now I'm really interested in them, and it really helps me decide what I want to do when I get to college.
So one of the most exciting and most important parts of this program is when kids think about what they want to be when they grow up, they think it's like 50 years away. And we all understand that it's going to creep up on them much sooner than they realize. So having events like this are great, but what's most important is we're teaching them to put themselves on that path, to make the choices that they need to make now and in high school to get them where they want to be. So that's really some of the work that then crossed over into our classroom as, okay, if I want to be this, how am I going to get there? So part of that was our getting them on the path for college. And our students did participate in 2 virtual tours. We chose Illinois State University, so they had a tour of one public institution, and then a University of Notre Dame for one private institution. Our home students were able to see what it looks like inside of a dorm room, a student union, the library, the quads, and ask all kinds of questions, anything from how do I get scholarships, financial aid, what's the coursework like? And most importantly, they wanted to know how good is the food in the cafeterias. So it was a really great experience. Our virtual tours are recorded and available on Google Drive for anyone in the district to watch at any time. So that was a little bit about our Game of Life Family Night, an excellent run for our first year. All right.
So yes, so you heard that one of the units in the AVID Excel program and also in regular AVID is career exploration. And in this unit, students are exploring their own strengths, their own interests to hopefully, get them excited about the possibility of going to college. And also we're creating this sense of academic success because we want them to be excited. And so we were lucky again because we have this partnership with District 214. So we had students who are ready to go to college. So we had this panel and the kids, so we brought all the classes at Grove. And so the kids were able to ask anything. So the students told them, just ask anything. Ask about dorms and are the classes difficult in high school? What are you excited about going to college? So that was very neat, all the kind of questions the kids were asking. And we're also excited because in May, we're going to be going to Northwestern Law School. So yes, we're very excited about that.
It's not working. Hello, does this work? Okay. I'm Yandel Rodriguez. I'm a student in AVID Excel and Grove Junior High. AVID has helped me become a more confident speaker because all of our exercises we do where we stand up on our classroom, we present about stuff. It has helped me learn more in school because I've asked more questions because I've been more confident. It's going to help me in the future because in my AVID class, we work on daily on academic vocabulary and how to speak with confidence. Is going to help me in the future in school because I can write better essays and sound more professional. I have also learned not to procrastinate, and I have also learned how to be a more organized. These skills are going to help me in the future. And I also want to thank 2 people really quick. My mother for bringing me here and Mr. Mancia for being a great board member.
AVID has helped me in many ways so far. I think AVID is really improved my success rate in many of my classes and my note-taking skills in science, ELA, and math. I can understand how to take notes better, and I want to thank my AVID teacher, Miss Saller, and my mother, and my father.
Hi, my name is Ella again, and AVID has really helped me in all of my classes with partner work and group work because in AVID we work a lot with people at our table. So when I'm working in groups in my other classes, I'm usually the leader in the groups, and it really helps everyone in the group in my other classes because like once you start off talking in a group, then everybody else kind of like goes.
I think that AVID will help me with my future in high school, college, and or careers because I always felt like I had trouble speaking in bigger crowds, and I feel like AVID could help me with that. And I always wanted bigger careers, so AVID will probably have to AVID will help me, get through my talking stage. And AVID will also help me take better notes so I could ask questions in my AVID classes.
We thought it was appropriate to end on the student success stories. I want to go ahead and give one more big round of applause for these students that came out here tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, at this time, we'd like to open up if there are any questions about our program. We'd be happy to answer or have our student experts answer for us.
What's your favorite board member? You want to go first?
Quick question and then a comment. So how do students end up in AVID? Do they elect, is it an elective, or how do the parents get them in the program?
Okay. Anyone care to speak for that? Or in our first year of our selection process, we did base it on a few criterion pieces. Teacher recommendation. We looked through the iReady benchmark test scores to see where students' needs best fell, whether it was an intervention, an AVID, an enrichment course. After we had that master list, we actually had all the students meet together. They filled out an application, and then they were pulled for a one-on-one interview. After that process, we had our master list, and then our wonderful admin do their magic with the number of sections and everything, and we worked out where we are today from there.
And then a comment for Mr. Rodriguez. Thank you, by the way. But I really want to hit what you said because you said the right thing. The program is giving you more confidence and you're able to ask more questions. Because why? Because you're more confident, right? Because when I went to your classroom, big stranger walks into the classroom, starts talking to all the kids. You weren't afraid of talking to me. You weren't afraid of asking questions. I knew you were confident, right? That's the good thing. So I want you to picture it like all of the students here, like a snowball that's rolling down the mountain, right? It gets bigger and it gets bigger. You guys are just starting right now, and that confidence is going to keep growing, right? You got to let it grow, and you're going to get more confident that by the time you're older, you're unstoppable, right? So keep that in mind, all you guys. So I appreciate it. Thank you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask a question for the students. Can one or two of you name a career that you had never heard of that you learned of through the career exploration?
A career, when we had a day in AVID where we took a test to see what careers fit for us, and I found a career, aerospace engineering, which I've never heard of before, and now it's my career I want to choose.
Okay. I've heard of photography because that's a very basic career, but I didn't know the amount of work that photographers have to put in and the amount of hours that they have to put in the career, and it just really made me feel like, wow, they work so hard and they also get a lot of money. So I would want to maybe do that.
How much time out of the day do these students spend in AVID, and out of what classrooms are they coming from?
For sure, that's a fantastic question. So this year, our junior highs implemented the What I Need course, the WIN courses. And during this time, this is when students are placed into either an intervention program or an enrichment program. We, for the most part, are not pulling our students from areas of needing intense intervention. So we're pulling them during that time. They meet with us every day for about 30 to 35 minutes.
So I know Mr. Mencia noted on confidence. I think every one of you, when you got up and spoke to us, mentioned the word confidence, and I could see that when you were speaking to us, because I think when I was your age, I wouldn't want to have been up there talking. And that's something. One thing I did note that that a lot of people also mentioned was note taking. And it's been funny because I have a daughter, I have a freshman in college and a senior in high school, and that's some of the skill that they're lacking right now, and that's some of the things that they're struggling with, how to take the proper notes and how to learn from that. So I think that's a great skill you guys are learning, that you're learning now, and make sure you keep reinforcing that. Even though you're not in your AVID class maybe next year or the year after, remember what you've learned though, and take that to heart, because that will help you in the long run. And for those of you that have already picked a career, I think that's great, but things can change. So don't close yourself out. Try other things too. Now's the time to experiment and learn. So I wish you guys good luck.
I would like to ask if it's too late for me to sign up for the AVID program, because I kind of need those skills too as well. So I just want to congratulate all the staff for their hard work and putting everything together for the students. And you guys are amazing, because I'm still afraid. I'm 32. I'm a single mom, and I'm still afraid to talk in public. It's very hard for me. And seeing you guys actually inspires me to try even harder every day. So keep it up.
You're more than welcome to stop by, and we'll be happy to give you a prompt and you can practice. We'll even do our AVID clap.
Any other questions? Oh.
This is my favorite chair. What I wanted to say is, why won't AVID be implemented next year in 8th grade? In sixth grade. Whatever. Yeah, sorry.
So, question for you, Dr. Richard?
Yeah. Would you like me to talk a little bit about that? Ms. Savage, please, you can unveil our plan for next year.
For next year in 6th grade, we thought it would be a valuable experience for all 6th grade students to get to experience AVID during WIN in all sorts of little mini lessons, so that every student can learn some of these skills. And then we will select students with their 6th grade teacher team during the 6th grade year. So instead of in 5th grade, when we're a little unsure and we're trying to figure things out, or we're not sure what it is, we want to expose students to AVID during 6th grade. And like Mr. Smith said, we actually have been, social science and science teachers have been learning some AVID strategies. So we want to see those in more classes so that more students can have that opportunity. Does that make sense? Yes. All right.
Bye-bye. So if I could just take a second, I want to say thank you. These students did not have school today, and they are here with their families. So thank you all for making it back on your day off. That is really impressive. To our staff and our leaders who spent a full day of learning and Institute Day, thank you for coming back and being here. Most importantly, thank you for what you do each and every day. I want to just give a shout out back to the two that kicked it off with Dr. Robinson and Dr. Perdomo. So we began exploring this. We had principals like Mr. Wheatley and other leaders like Dr. Perdomo who had experience with AVID in their previous work locations. I had experience when I was a junior high teacher many, many years ago, and such successful experiences. As the video showed, it's been around since 1980, right? And this is something that we really identified through looking at our data as a need for our students. And I'm so glad you asked that question, because our long-term goal is that we become AVID schools. So not just having AVID programs for select students, but really embedding all of these things that are great for all learners in all of the work that we do at our junior highs. There's also even AVID things that we could be doing down at our intermediate level as well. So we have some long-term goals, but I'm incredibly proud of the work that has happened in a very short amount of time. Teachers who gave up and administrators that gave up time last summer to travel and be trained. A lot of work. It took rebuilding our whole schedule to allow for this time to happen. So there's a lot of structural changes that needed to take place first. And now I hope what we can all see is the fruits of the labor when we put our minds together and really put our resources based on where our student needs are. So a huge thank Thank you to Ms. Savage, Dr. Perdomo, Dr. Robinson, all of our principals, our AVID leaders, our assistant principals. Who can you raise your hands? Our AP, who are actually our school-based AVID leaders. There you go. Raise your hands. Thank you so much. And then to all the staff, because they're the ones who really put the work in, and most importantly, our students and our parents who made this commitment, because hopefully you'll go on to high school and continue in this if your high school offers this opportunity. And we expect to see great things when you come back.
All right, so before you go, oh, Marta, sorry, Marta.
Just like to take the last minute here to thank all the teachers and the administrators, whether you are an AVID teacher or not, because the most important thing, students, is your teacher. When you look back, as I do, at the teachers who influenced me throughout my career as a student, and then for 14 years when I was a teacher myself, the teachers are the ones who make you what you are. You have to be open to what they're doing, but please appreciate your teachers, because a good teacher it means everything. So thank you, teachers, for everything that you're doing, because you are very important.
All right, before we let you all go, we would like you to come up and get a picture with us. So plenty of room up here. Yep, everyone come on up. Come on. We won't fight. Go right in the middle here.
This is why I started teaching. Staying tall, right? Awesome. Great job, everyone.
No, I'm gonna count.
Thank you.
Okay, I can do it. Okay. Yep. Give it a couple seconds to calm down a little bit. Okay. Item 5.0, public and comments from the suggestions and comments from the public. Before we begin, I'll read. I got a quick thing to read. This is the point of the meeting where we welcome public comments. Tonight is a regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting. The purpose of the meeting is for the board to properly address the items on the agenda publicly as required by the Open Meetings Act. To allow the board time needed to address all agenda items, we ask you to please limit your comments to 3 minutes. A board member will serve as timekeeper and will give the speaker notice when there are 30 seconds remaining to allow the speaker time to complete or summarize their thoughts. Public comment during a business meeting is a time for the board to listen to comments from the public. This is not a time for two-way discussion between the board and the public. Please understand the board will not ask nor answer questions. If you have questions or wish to have a response to any item, please submit your comments in writing, and the superintendent will follow up with a response. We also want to remind those in attendance that this is a meeting being video live streamed. The video of the meeting will also be archived and available for viewing after the meeting has adjourned. For those of you sharing a public comment, please be mindful that you are being broadcast live and your comment will be included in the video archive. With that, we have one person signed up, Bob Leiden. I'll be taking time. I'll give it.
Are you an AVID?
No, I'm not an AVID. I drive some of them, but I'm not an AVID. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Bob Lyden. I've been a resident of Elk Grove Village for 36 years. My kids went to Salt Creek, Grove, and Elk Grove High Schools. Since being retired in 2013, I've been a school bus driver in District 59. My reason for speaking this evening is a transportation contract. I've run the same route since I started, first with Grand Prairie and since 2017 with First Student after they won the contract. I won't continue this route with Safeway Transportation if they were to win the bid. Let me explain that. When I first heard Assistant Superintendent of Finance O'Connor state at the last board meeting that the Safeway bid was 30 to 35% less than the competing bids, my first thought was, what? I don't need an MBA from the Booth School to know that that's a red flag. Having worked for 2 large corporations over my lifetime and been involved in the bidding process, I know the competitive bidding by vendors is tight with an approximate difference of 3 to 5%. 30 to 35% is outlandish. Now, Mr. O'Connor stated that because of that difference, he vetted Safeway and did his due diligence. So, okay, I did a little due diligence myself. Since the pandemic, every school bus company in every school district in the United States is short drivers. This is not a secret. So for the gentleman from Safeway to say that he's cracked the code on hiring and retaining drivers is disingenuous. His digital sign in Palatine, as well as his flyers, offer a $4,000 sign-on bonus, as well as 6 paid holidays. First Student offers a $5,000 sign-on bonus and 8 paid holidays. And we struggle to get drivers, and we have a very large recruiting team that goes out every day. Okay, and from there, he does pay $26 an hour. Grand Prairie does now too, and First Student is in the middle of current union contract negotiations, so I'm sure they'll get there as well. The various Safeway locations in the area are generally small and strip centers with a large parking lot and a small construction trailer in Arlington Heights. O'Connor mentioned Safeway had space across from the Willoway Mobile Home Park. The only open space I found was in front of the gas storage area in a weed-covered vacant lot down the street. My company's been short drivers, there's no doubt about it. We've doubled up, used our standbys, members of our staff that hold CDLs, and we've got the job done for the last several years. I have no idea how Safeway will do this, as they're going to need over 100 drivers and buses. In
30 seconds.
59, they have another contract that they have. We started in 2017 and we brought in drivers and buses from all over the U.S. as we're a multinational company. Safeway is a small local company with not a lot of resources. I believe before you vote, you folks need to explore the Safeway bid in depth and do some real due diligence beyond some phone calls and promises from a potential contractor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.0, the consent agenda. Can I get a motion? I can make the motion. Come on.
You want me to do it?
I got it. There we go. Be resolved on the 10th day of April 2023, the Community Consolidated School District 59 Board of Education approved the consent agenda as presented/amended below. Item 6.0, approval of prior meeting minutes. 6.02, distribution resolution. 6.03, acceptance of financial reports. 6.04, acceptance of recommendation of human resources report. 6.05, approval to destroy 18th month or older closed session recordings. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments? Roll call.
Ms. Lang, absent. Mr. Mencia.
Aye.
Ms. Petrielli, absent. Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Zager, aye. Ms. Schumacher. Aye. Aye. And Ms. Espino.
Aye.
Okay, with that, the motion passes.
Item 7.0, discussion items. 7.0, renewal for the refuge recycling service. Mr. O'Connor.
Dr. Bresnahan, members of the board, happy Monday. So the first piece is that the District 59, we're in the second of a 3-year contract with Republic Services, typically just to take care of our trash, as well as any sort of recycling services. We've been very satisfied with this level of service provided. Republic has looked at the CPI increase, which was about 7%. And operating expenses have increased by then as well. So we're looking at a total charge being $4,923.52 per month. So that would be the increase of $320 a month.
I have a question. So we have a 3-year deal with Republic. Right now we are in year 2 of 3. Are the annual increases set forth in the contract, meaning the increase shall be X in year 3? Because I noticed the language said that they had proposed 7%.
It was a proposal. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we get to negotiate that to an extent. And due to their operating pieces, this is what they came up with, and we were in agreement with it. It's been pretty consistent with what they've asked for over time.
Okay. But does the contract say like the rate shall increase 3% each year or something? Are we going above and beyond what's there?
No, this is just what we normally negotiate with.
Okay.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, before we move on, so you mentioned recycling streams. What recycling streams do we have at the schools?
We have certain students that get the recycling from the classrooms, and we have them in different parts of the building, just where you can throw certain items. I know there's nothing special to it.
Okay. We don't have a big incentive program for recycling paper or something.
We do not. That's something we can look into, though.
Okay. Because this is trash and recycling.
Correct.
Okay. Item 7.02, E-rate network equipment. Is that you, Mr. Gray?
It is. Yes. So as I mentioned at last meeting, this time of year is time for our E-rate purchases. So this year we are looking to secure switches at all of our buildings. Now what switches are, those are the equipment pieces in the closets that run the connection to the access point. So in this room for wireless, they provide the connection and power. They also provide the connection and power for security cameras, for any appliances that are on our network that need to have a connection and power. That's what these devices do. Our current devices are at end of life and end of support. So this program, if you look, I'll explain the cost breakdown. The way that E-rate works is it's a percentage based on your free and reduced, and our percentage is currently 80%. That's for E-rate eligible items. So on this table, you'll notice that there's one item in particular, the power cords. Power cords, for whatever reason, this is a federal program, they determine what is eligible and what is not. So we'll get the equipment, we just don't get the cords to power it, so we have to pay for that ourselves at the full cost. Otherwise, the other items on here are at 80%. So essentially, when you break the whole table down, that bottom number is the most important number for us. The total cost after E-rate is $63,793. And again, this would allow us to continue to have our wireless infrastructure as well as our cameras and all those devices be able to work effectively.
This is a federal program, correct? This
E-rate is a federal program, that is correct.
And this includes the installation as well?
That's correct. Yeah, so you'll see on their configuration and install support, that's a 3-day process where they come in and help us with that.
Do we need ongoing maintenance for these switches, like upgrades, updates, those kind of things, or is it just a one-time installation?
That's the 5-year support. So those are the 2 lines above that.
Okay.
Yes.
And so this is replacing existing switches?
That's correct.
So what happens to the old equipment that's end of life?
A lot of the old equipment gets e-recycled.
Okay.
So we'll get a portion of dollars back. It's not anything too significant, but it does go to responsibly recycling.
We can't keep the power cords?
They're different, so it's a different connection. I would love to. Yes, it's a great idea, but yeah, it's a different size. Yes.
No, it's not. It's the AC adapter cord.
Yeah. So the way the power and the back of it, they may have a different connection.
Okay.
So
How does it actually work with cutting the check? Do we have to cut a check for $294 and then apply for the rebate and discount, or are we going to cut a check for $63,000?
We'll pay so there's a couple different ways that you do it. We'll pay the $63,000 based on our percentage. So we have an E-rate consultant that we work with that helps us with the process. So All this has to go through the full process. It has to get approved. Has to get approved by the E-rate program,
Right.
and then we get what our cost is, and then we pay that.
Sure. Okay.
And this E-rate program is only for like hardware related stuff. It's not for
So-
like laptops or Chromebooks and stuff like that.
Correct. The requirement is it has to be for information connectivity, so typically network equipment. We do also get E-rate reimbursement for our bandwidth, so our connection to the internet, which is expensive and costly. We do get 80% back from that. In the past, they used to allow us to do things like telephones and pieces like that, but that's no longer. I think about 5 or 6 years ago, they updated E-rate, and you can no longer get reimbursement for things like district provided cell phones or our telephone system, some of those pieces.
Are we limited to how many times we can take advantage of this per year? Is it a one time or like a cap X number?
It's
of
an
dollars?
annual process, and you have a certain allotment over around 5 years.
Sure.
So we maximize the amount that we can get through the program. Yes.
Ben, just to clarify, when you say the 80%, that's the E-rate percentage based on our current numbers of free and reduced.
Correct. That's
that doesn't mean
80%
that we are at 80% free and reduced.
No. The 80%
Okay, I just want to make sure
yes,
that
we're
was
not
clear.
at 80% free and reduced. They have a calculation that they take our number and then provide us with our discount is. Yeah. So our discount is 80% discount, but we are not at 80% free and reduced. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Item 7.03, maintenance vehicle bid. Mr. O'Connor.
So as we've discussed, we've had a lot of issues trying to receive any sort of vehicles. This one was in particular, when we went out to bid, a 2022 that was still on the lot. So we went out to bid, and there was only one local company that had it, which was Gulf Mill Chevrolet. It is a dump truck, but it also includes a trade-in of the 2011 F550 dump truck that we've had. It has been quite the ordeal.
Let me ask on this. I've been thinking. When I was reading this, I was trying to think outside the box, and maybe I have my deal making hat on. Is there a way, I don't know, of partnering with maybe a local dealership? Because this isn't the first time we've discussed purchasing a vehicle. I don't know if there's an opportunity to partner with a local dealership in the district where we would purchase vehicles from them. I don't know if we do our own oil changes or if they would service the fleets, et cetera, for discounts.
Mr. Mance, you make a good point. So thinking out of the box, one thing that we did find out was that if a vehicle was used, but it was given to, or not given, it was bought off the dealership, and then that person or company sold it, we wouldn't, you'd see a reduction, and there would be a potential for buying it outright. Now we would go out to bid still anyways, but otherwise, I don't think there was really much of an issue or a situation where we can do that. We've talked to the attorneys, and they said the smartest thing is you just go out to bid and see what happens.
Sure.
It's been just a lot of districts I've talked to have had issues. There was one local district that bought too many vehicles, but they didn't suit our needs.
Sure. And roughly how many vehicles does the district own, like these trucks?
Oh boy, I have to.
Is it a lot? Like more?
Well, let me
than
get
10?
back to you on that
Yeah.
one.
No, I'm just.
I have to talk to Mr. Tiarina about that one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll tell you, we do have a maintenance man that does do the oil
Yeah,
changes.
it's like
do
here,
the,
right?
Yeah,
Is that-
Ryan,
Right.
Ryan Goodrich.
Sure. Yeah.
Ex custodial. He's the maintenance guy that does all the maintenance on the vehicles.
Okay.
And not only does the vehicles, but it's like the lawnmowers and all that stuff that we maintain. I think in the past we haven't had problem with vehicles, but this whole COVID/supply chain has just kind of messed things up in the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
And I know they try and replace 1 or 2 vehicles a year, because I know we have probably 12 or 15 vehicles. If you think about it, over a 10, 12 year period, one's going to start working itself off.
Right. I'm unsure, because I know we did approve of vehicles in the past, but we haven't received them. So we had to cancel them due to even the state contract. They don't have them.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Item 7.0, parking lot repaving at Rosemary, South Argus Friendship Park.
So with our intergovernmental agreement with Mount Prospect Park District, they've discussed the idea of having to pave that parking lot to the side over by the tennis courts. And we can use that during the day. So per the terms of the IGA, our cost share would be 15%, or what would be $33,750.
So basically, there's a parking lot off our, not on our property, but our staff is allowed to park there during the school year. We do some buses line up there and stuff like that. Families are picked up there. So as part of the agreement, we started talking about the agreements related to playground equipment. So like this is part of that agreement.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be my question as to what was the what do we get? What does the district get in response? Okay. And I don't think we have a say as far as the actual price. I think it's in there. It's
Yeah.
50%.
They went out to bid just like we did.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you. All right, we're going to be on to action items 8.0. Approval of 23-24 school year pay bus fee.
I have a comment on this one.
Oh, the grounds?
On the school.
The asphalt? Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. It suggests that we are going to increase the pay for the school children who have to pay for their own buses. There are only 7 of them in the district. So it's a very small number of people that we are going to put this extra money on. 6.1 seems like it doesn't make any sense. Why don't we just say 5%? Make it a small amount that these 7 students have to pay extra to ride the buses. I don't know if they're wealthy families or if they're just eking out a living, but 6.1 seems like kind of a ridiculous amount.
So
$525 increase. It's a lot.
No, that's the total.
Well, that's the total, but
Yeah.
it's an increase.
Yeah. So I know Mardell, last year we kept it down. We didn't even raise it. We raised a very small percentage last year. And if I'm correct, Mr. O'Connor, this is below the cost that it would cost per person on the bus route. So we're not even charging the full cost of the bus
Well,
route.
it's not, I mean, I'm not going to argue the point. It's just seemed, looking at this, 7 students only are
Yeah.
being,
Well, don't forget most, to qualify, to not qualify for a bus route.
I know that. I understand.
There's certain,
But as
these
I
are
say,
people that do not qualify for
I
busing.
missed it by 3 houses, as I
Mhm.
said it before. So, I mean, people could miss the free bus by very little amount. So
Yes.
it's just, I don't know. It's just
I-
something I thought didn't seem very fair.
I agree with you, Mardell, but I also say this: if you look at District 57 and River Trails, even if they're qualified buses, they charge the families for busing,
Yep.
even though they're required to provide busing. Also, we do not charge any school fees at all in our district, which is significantly less than many of the districts around us, which charge upwards
I'm
almost
only
$1,000.
talking about these
I know,
7 people.
but I'm saying our fees are significantly less, and we don't want to encourage because this puts additional responsibilities on us by having additional people ride the bus. It may prevent us from having additional routes and stuff like that, or people not being cost extra money because we'll need additional routes or additional busing.
Whatever. I said my piece.
So can we get a motion?
I'll make the motion. Be it resolved that on the 10th day of April 2023, the Community Consolidated School District 59 Board of Education established the 2023-24 school year pay bus fee at $525, which is a 6.1% increase compared to the 2022-2023 school year.
I'll second.
Besides Mardell, does anybody else have a comment? Roll call.
Let's see. Mr. Mancia.
Aye.
Ms. Petrielli, absent. Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Dr. Sager, aye. Ms. Schumacher.
Nay.
Ms. Espino.
Aye.
And Ms. Lang is absent.
Item 8.02, where's the note? Hold on. The approval of the transportation bid. I'll make the motion. Where is that at? There's, whereas bid or open on February 8th, 2023, the regular special education and early childhood education transportation service for District 59. Whereas 2 for regular education transportation and 3 bids for special education and early childhood received, with a recommended lowest bid for regular education, special education, and early childhood education transportation services submitted by Safeway Transportation Services Corporation, 1030 South Milwaukee Avenue, Wheeling, Illinois, 60090. Therefore, it be resolved on the 10th day of April 2023, the Board of Education of Community Consolidated School District 59 approves the award for regular, special education, and early childhood student services to Safeway Transportation Service Corporation. A total estimated 3-year bid award of $19,226,495.74. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So questions, comments? So can you kind of explain why we just went with Safeway, especially with the concerns that were brought up by the public today?
No, absolutely. Yeah, talking to the different districts through the north suburbs especially, they didn't have the same issues that we've had. For example, we've had a lot of phone calls from parents about combining 14, 15 routes a day just from first student alone. The ELC saw a need to have change, especially with Grand Prairie, because they weren't satisfied with what was going on with them. And one of the companies, they told us that we wouldn't be their number one priority. So we met with Jason Kierna, and who is the regional manager at for first student, is with my transportation team. We talked to them for about a half an hour. We explained the rationale. They even admitted, yeah, there have been a lot of changes and whatnot, what were messes ups, and they even admitted they didn't communicate with us well at the administrative level. There were a lot of times when we'd ask questions, we were trying to work with them, and there wasn't the satisfaction that was required in terms of assisting us with trying to provide for our kids. Now, for our drivers, we love our drivers. We still love our drivers. That's never been an issue, but sometimes there are people that are above that it was not. They essentially told us that it would not. They don't think that throwing dollars at a problem would make a solution happen. Like raising salaries. They said that specifically. That was what Mr. Kierna said to me, Mary Gonzalez, and Fernanda Santabenes.
So with them having all 3 of the special education, the LC, and the Gen Ed, will they be able to handle? Will State be able to handle that?
Well, they better be, right? I mean, how much worse can it get?
For the past, umpteen years, we've had 2 different providers.
Correct. And I think that has also been a disadvantage at times, because by having 2 different companies, you do see the almost a confrontation of taking drivers from each other.
Ron, can you walk me through at a very high level the effort in selecting a transportation provider? We went out to bid. How long ago? We received the bids. Do we interview? Do we meet up? Did they come on site? Like what does that process look like?
They do come on site prior to bid. They receive what our transportation looks like in the meantime. They get the routes that we've done at this given time. Then they put together the calculations based on that. If they have any questions, they can send them to us. And then what we do is we send an amendment to each of them so that everybody's on the same page. After that, before that happens, they turn in their bid. But before that, after that happens, then we start looking at what is happening with those companies, what is happening with their administrative team, what is happening with anything in upright. So we do contact other bus barns. We want to see who's where. I do know that there's, for example, Safeway does have somebody that he's going to be in charge of the bus barn, which other districts have had very big success with. East Maine's on board as well. So there's a lot that Safeway is riding on to make sure that this does work out, especially that they have 2 districts now for that, and they're looking for more. But
do we do reference?
Oh yeah, definitely. The CSBO world is really small, so I had friends calling me. They were saying, "Hey, just so you know, you guys have had headaches. I get it," and that's kind of how it really plays out. We always discuss behind the scenes. We call. We make sure that we do our due diligence because it's our jobs.
And then it has been discussed at facilities and finance at least 2 to 3 times.
Yes.
And reps from Safeway did come out to one of the facilities and finance committee meetings where the board members had opportunities to question and have their questions answered. And then we had our discussion with the full board last month.
I believe a rep was here
And the
Last-
rep was present
Correct.
last month as well, which leads to the board action tonight. So
To be honest, Mr. Mancia, I think there are a lot of bus companies that I think there are more. I don't want to just hear I can't do it, and that's what I heard from 2 companies this past year.
Sure.
I said, no, you got to do it because we have kids that are relying on this,
Mhm.
and I don't need parents waiting for who knows how long because we had to combine routes because that's not the way it should be.
Yeah.
And right now, Safeway they are a higher dollar amount, per hour. We're guaranteeing more hours too. First student has acknowledged they told us not to do that in the past year because they didn't want to upfront the cost. So we're not looking for a cheap way to do things. We're looking for the right way to do that. And if money is the motivator, then so be it.
Yeah, and I think I want to highlight with my comments too, just the reemphasizing again that we here are on the balcony, right? And there's a lot of work that the team does here at the district level, but also in the committee level of discussing these items before it comes here, because it is a large amount of money. It is a big sum here, but there is a lot of homework that goes into it before.
And when we were meeting with first student, probably in December, Mary and I did say, we will pay a higher amount of money for an hourly rate. And they said no. The big argument for them was, now you're going to be stealing drivers from another district anyways, and you're still going to give us headaches. And I always said, well, why don't we do it still? Nope.
Sure. Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
I just again, one more thing is,
Mhm.
with the resources that we have, there's no excuse for us to have the best. And that to me is, it's paramount.
I agree.
I will pay over if we have to.
Roll call.
Ms. Petrielli, absent. Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Sager? Aye. Schumacher?
Aye.
Espino?
Aye.
Lang is absent. And Mr. Mencia?
Aye.
And the motion passes.
Item 8.03, approval of asphalt bid or Salt Creek, John Jay, and Friendship. Can we get a motion?
I'll make the motion. Whereas bids were open for asphalt repair on March 13, 2023 at 3 District 59 sites, John Jay, Salt Creek, and Friendship. Now therefore be it resolved that on the 10th day of April 2023, the Community Consolidated School District 59 Board of Education hereby approves the selection of the contract award to the lowest and responsive bidder for John Jay and Salt Creek to Chicagoland Paving Contractors, Inc. at this address in the amount of $37,000. The contract for Friendship was awarded to Schroeder Asphalt Services, Inc. at the address in the motion in the amount of $142,900.
Questions, comments? And this basically gets us all up to date on our asphalt thing, right? So basically, no, just be doing seal coating from now on.
Well, as part of the 10-year plan. And you never know what happens.
Any question, comments? Roll call.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Sager? Aye. Ms. Schumacher?
Aye.
Ms. Espino?
Aye.
Ms. Lang is absent. Mr. Mencia?
Aye.
And Ms. Petrielli is absent. Motion passes.
Okay. Item 8.04, approval of District 59 Education Foundation donation to Juliet Lowe. I can make that motion. Be it resolved on the 10th day of April 2023, the Community Consolidated School District 59 Board of Education approves a donation from District 59 Education Foundation to Juliet Lowe Elementary School totaling $1,000. This donation will be used for publishing student stories about the ecosystem. Be it further resolved, the superintendent shall communicate to the District 59 Education Foundation in writing, expressing appreciation of members of the Board of Education, and that this donation shall be listed in the official meeting minutes of this meeting. For the second.
I'll second it.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Sager? Aye. Ms. Schumacher?
Aye.
Espino?
Aye.
Ms. Lang is absent. Mr. Mencia?
Aye.
Petrielli is absent. Mr. Reed?
Aye.
And the motion passes.
I forgot to mention, next Saturday, or this upcoming Saturday, is the District 59 Got Talent presented by the Education Foundation. Tickets are still available, right, Mr. Gray? And they can be purchased on the District 59 Education Foundation website. Okay, I had to put my plug in for that before I forgot.
And I would point out, District 59 Education Foundation just donated $1,000.
Yes. right. Item 8.05, approval of closing date for the 2022-2023 school term.
I can make the motion. Whereas the last day of student and staff attendance for the 2022-23 school year will be June 7th, 2023 for the traditional calendar and balanced calendars. And whereas the official calendar for the 2022-23 school year represents the following listed emergency days, cancellation days, e-learning days, and total days. Now, therefore, be it resolved on the 10th day of April 2023, the Community Consolidated School District 59 Board of Education approves the final school calendars for the 2022-23 school year based upon the following 176 student attendance days and 4 institute days. Do I have to keep reading? Yeah, okay. Be it further resolved that the last day of attendance for students and staff following the traditional and balanced calendars will be June 7th, 2023. That's the important date.
I will second it. Questions, comments? We should have done this when the kids were here.
Yeah.
Maybe when AVID kids students were here, they would have liked to see this.
And June 7th is the last day of school for all 14 and ELC, everybody.
You're keeping it open just so that I can celebrate my birthday here.
Yes.
Yes.
June 5th.
39, right?
39.
Roll call.
Ms. Schumacher. Aye, nay?
Roll call?
Roll call. Ms. Schumacher. Go ahead.
Aye.
Aye, there you go. Ms. Espino.
Aye.
Ms. Legg is absent. Mr. Mencia.
Aye.
Ms. Petrielli is absent. Mr. Reed.
Aye.
And Sager, aye. Motion passes.
8.06. Oh. Yeah, last day of school, yes. I see some staff members quite happy back there. 8.06, proclamation for Student Appreciation Week, April 17th to the 21st, 2023.
I'll make the motion. Now, therefore, be it resolved that April 17th through the 21st, 2023 is hereby proclaimed Public School Volunteer Appreciation Week within Community Consolidated School District 59 in recognition of the contributions made by volunteers working throughout our school district during the 2022-2023 school year for the benefit of students, staff, and our community. Approve this 10th day of April 2023.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Questions, comments? I just want to say thank you for all the staff, for all the parents, community members that volunteer in our schools, whether it be via the PTO coming as guest readers, help with whatever.
Everybody's important.
Any community, whatever, we appreciate that. You know, every little bit helps. So thank you to all the staff, all the community members and teachers and parents and family members. I mean, I bet your grandparents are going into classrooms. So thank you. Roll call.
Ms. Espino.
Aye.
Ms. Lang is absent. Mr. Mencia. Aye. Ms. Petrielli is absent. Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Sager, aye. Ms. Schumacher.
Aye.
And the motion passes.
Item 8.07, proclamation for Staff Appreciation Week, May 8th through May 12th, 2023. Do you have a motion? You want to do that, Mardell?
No.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Speak up when I want to.
Okay, I can do it. I was going to.
You want to do it? I got okay. Whereas preparing students to be successful for life is the mission of Community Consolidated School District 59, and the economic future of our community, state, and nation is dependent upon a knowledgeable and informed citizenry. And whereas the week of May 8th through the 12th, 2023 has been designated as National Teacher Appreciation Week, whereas members of the Board of Education desire to recognize teachers and all employees of School District 59 for their dedicated contributions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on the 10th day of April 2023, on behalf of the residents, parents, and students, and especially members of the Board of Education, the week of May 8th through 12th, 2023 is hereby proclaimed as Staff Appreciation Week within Community Consolidated School District 59. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the President and Secretary of the Board of Education will sign the proclamation attached hereto. A certified copy of the proclamation will be sent to each school within Community Consolidated School District 59.
And I'll second.
Good job.
Thank you.
Questions, comments? So I'd like to thank the staff, and that's the teachers. I'll even give a shout out to the maintenance guys, because I was driving by the school at 6:30 on Saturday morning, and There's some maintenance guys out there working on the grounds already at 6:30 on a Saturday morning, getting it ready for the kids to like get outside more and make sure our yard maintenance is done. So, I mean, those guys were out there. I think there's a group of about 5 or 6 of them are out on Saturday morning going to all our schools. So I was kind of nice to see that. So thank you to them. Don't want to miss the staff here. And sometimes we have our senior SLT team here, but we have a lot of people, other people working on the scenes that aren't teachers or staff, and I appreciate our nurses. So thank you to everybody, because without everyone, we need everyone to make this district successful.
We do.
Did I miss anybody? Everyone. All right, roll call.
Let's see. Ms. Lang is absent. Mr. Mencia.
Aye.
Ms. Petrielli is absent. Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Sager, aye. Ms. Schumacher.
Aye.
And Ms. Espino.
Aye.
And the motion passes.
Yeah, I want this. Okay, 9.0 superintendent reports. I believe the first person up is going to be Dr. Bresnahan.
Good evening. I just have 2 items that I want to provide updates for the board and for our community. So Election Day took place, and we were able to utilize 7 of our schools as polling sites. And this has historically been the practice. It is written into school code. These are not based on our choices, but rather our state election committee that selects the polling locations. So we recognize that while we were able to manage a successful and safe day for our students, we know that it puts us in a compromising situation. And so a group of superintendents in the area and myself, along with Ed Red, met today to really talk about how we can start to share our experiences and perspectives with our legislators so that we can hopefully move some legislation in the direction to help keep our schools as either not polling places or to declare them statewide as non-attendance days. So we contributed our information and shared that at the group level so that hopefully we'll get that into some legislative conversations before veto session. So that is something that we are definitely hearing from our community and from our staff and want to be a part of finding a solution for. And our Brentwood facilities, as we discussed the last couple months, we are looking at how we can find a long-term solution as well as an immediate solution to reduce some of the overcrowding that we are experiencing, particularly at Brentwood. So we have scheduled a Brentwood community meeting along with staff as well, who are invited on Tuesday, April 25th at 6 p.m. And it will be an opportunity for us to just share some specific data about what is the current situation, what are potential solutions that we might be looking at, and really looking at it not only from a Brentwood perspective, but how does it impact all of our other schools and the district as a whole? Because as we know, any solution has a domino effect, and we want to make sure that we're looking at the long term and not just at the short term. So that will be a great opportunity. We'll continue to communicate with families and make sure that we get a good representative group of families who are able to contribute to that working session and learn about what our current status is. And with that, I'll turn it over to.
Quick question, Terry.
Oh, yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a comment.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I've been an election judge for over 4 decades. And usually it's in the schools. And usually I am in the gym at Bird School. But there was something going on for the kids this year so that we couldn't be in there. No problem for the judges. We used a classroom. They came into our classroom from the outside and right in from the outside door. The hall door was locked. We couldn't get out. Nobody could get in. So there was definitely security. The only thing that there was a problem with that is people are so used to going into the gym and going in by that door that it made it more difficult for the voters. But other than that, it was fine. And I don't know where else you might put us other than the schools that the parents, not the parents, but the public would find it convenient. And it's bad enough that not enough people vote as it is.
Yeah.
So we have to do everything we can to make it palatable for voters.
Yeah. Well, that was my question, because I have a friend of mine who's a polling judge as well too, but they're in Mount Prospect. That they were at the Rexplex and they were covering 4 precincts, and they had a total of 50 people coming and vote day of election day.
The problem is that you have more than one school.
Right.
And if you do it at the Recplex, you've got everybody all together.
Yeah, well, but I mean, but the thing was, there's only, I think there's only 50 people that came in for 4 whole precincts.
Well, we
and
had
and,
about
and,
100.
and my question is, I know it's something is, but I mean, with the advent of mail-in balloting, early voting, which I think, I took advantage of early voting and stuff like that, is that, I hope you express them. Can we relook at these polling stations as what are they needed based on these changes that have happened in the last, especially since the side of Copeland, early voting and mail-in balloting became a much more of a higher priority, because I think almost 40% of the votes were cast, if not higher, early.
Not that many people did early voting. It was maybe a little bit more, but most of the time it's like judges and other people who are working that day have to vote early because you can't go leave
Yep.
your post and go to,
Mhm.
but most regular people do not vote early.
But I think in sum here, this is a good example of the type of decision where, like many of the decisions that have to be made up here, there's no 100%
Right.
satisfied solution. We could have said, we're going to do remote learning on this date, and you would have had parents that did not have daycare for the students. You would have had staff that would now need to prepare remote learning plans, et cetera. But I think what Dr. Bresnahan said is, how do we fix it? Okay, so now we're meeting with legislatures. We're figuring out, make it a non-attendance day or figure out other places to do it. So it results in as minimal of a disruption here versus either or, one or the other.
And I just want to repeat that it was very safe, that the doors to the hall were locked. Nobody got in, nobody got out, period.
Yeah. And I appreciate you mentioning that, Mardell, because I think our team did an outstanding job given the circumstances. I think where we have control for long-term planning is really in our calendar creation process. So whether something changes or not, we do need to look at that as part of our responsibility and consider how we do that when I know the election day coming up in the fall, we have it as an institute. Or next spring, we've already created that as an institute day. So there are some things, but it doesn't just impact us. All our surrounding neighbors were faced with difficult choices, and it's no clear, easy one. Obviously, we don't want to disrupt learning, but we also want to support our public voting. So complicated issue, and it's better to get more people involved in the conversation and share the actual awareness of
And it's important to get people
what
to
it
come
is.
out and vote.
Absolutely. So
because
thank
A
you.
lot of people don't.
Mr. Ludlow.
Okay, so moving on, just really quickly, assessment-wise, we are in the state accountability testing season, and will be for the next few weeks. As a district, we're required all of our 3rd through 8th grade students complete the IAR, the Illinois Assessment of Readiness, and reading and math. Then we have the Illinois Science Assessment, ISA, that's for 5th and 8th graders. And then we also have an assessment, it's called the DLM, it's the Dynamic Learning Maps, and that's for students. No more than 1% of your special ed students can take that test, and it's really a one-on-one test with the teacher. So we're in the midst of that process. These tests not only provide information to parents, to the district, to everyone. It really drives the accountability system in the state and the summative designation process. So our staff, our kids have done very well to prepare and really are working through that process now. IAR closes next Friday, ISA the Friday after that, and the DLM runs into about mid-June, where again, or mid-May, I'm sorry, due to that one-on-one nature of the assessment. So that process is moving along quite well. Professional learning, as was mentioned earlier, today was our final District Institute Day. We had an opportunity to introduce the new ELA curriculum across the district to our primary teachers, K2, our intermediate 3-5, and junior high 6th through 8th. We utilized the Belvedere actually today to provide we were hoping a more comfortable setting for some of our groups. We also had the special ed and inclusion for the junior high group there this afternoon. We had some connectivity issues this morning, but the staff powered through it as did the facilitators. But in the end, we had 18 formal sessions occurring throughout the district today in lots of different areas, mostly focused on curriculum, work, staff collaboration, staff opportunities to come together. So we do, as part of that process, get feedback from staff. So we'll be looking at that. And then finally, on a professional learning side, we're working on our summer professional learning programming. I think the lowest was kind of the post-COVID year. We offered like 40 some sessions. We've offered up to 100 sessions for our staff over the course of the summer. They're choice sessions and opportunities to really front load learning or build capacity. It's not how we deliver. That wouldn't be how we deliver our ELA curriculum new to staff. It's a choice opportunity, but a lot of our staff participate and our departments do a great job organizing those and planning those sessions throughout the summer. That's it for me.
Good evening. I'd like to share a brief update about the hiring process. We just approved the last day of school, and a meeting ago or so, we talked about staff allocations, our enrollment, our programming needs, and that translates to our hiring needs. So we have been busy at work behind the scenes preparing what those true openings are. And I thought I'd give a little insight about the complexity of the process. So first, we begin with school, class, and grade level enrollment projections, which you have seen some of those. Leadership then evaluates different program needs, space capacity, fluctuations within our learning communities. And then we know what our initial openings are. But we also have to accommodate retirements, resignations, promotions, out-of-district promotions, transfers, even returning staff members from leave of absence, staff members going on leave of absence, some of our staff members who will be student teaching if they're a paraprofessional. We take all of those pieces and we put them in the mix. And then we look at those new allocations that the board approved. There were 36 this year. And so we place those in. Does the interventionist programming look different next year? ESL resource. So we are just coming to the final stages of that piece where we're getting input from all departments, all building leaders, so that we can then align our communications, which we value deeply with our staff, to get input, to give them notice before summer break. We do anticipate having approximately 75 positions to hire for next year. However, for known hard to fill positions, such as currently psychologists, dual language, we have already been actively recruiting and hiring. So our team has done a tremendous job with that. And with that, I do want to just thank all of our leaders, building leaders, principals, APs, coordinators, department leaders. It's a tremendous amount of collaboration and work, and the HR team to make sure that this is organized, because these are critical resources that we need to make sure are accounted for appropriately so we're good to go at the start of the school year. Mm-hmm. And I will provide more updates as we progress through the summer with our hiring process.
Sure. I was going to say, I have a question, Ross, and it might be a question for both you and Mr. O'Connor here. But I was reading in the paper about the ISBE grants for bilingual teachers, and I believe the District 59 received, I think it was like $24,000, I think. What does the district plan to do with that money? Or are there plans, or what have we historically done? I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
We're
Okay.
planning on subsidizing any tuition for teachers to get their ESL endorsement,
Okay. Thank you.
which is a need in our
Sure.
district.
So they'd be apply for the grant saying, I want to do this, and
Yeah, we're opening it up.
Yeah.
Encouraging all teachers that starting first our junior high ELA group,
Mhm.
because we have a very, very small number of them that have that endorsement. We need to increase that number
Mhm.
in order to serve according to state regulations.
Mhm.
Sorry. I have my mic on. So we need to increase that number.
Okay.
So we're looking at that group first, but really we have that money available, and that's our primary need.
Okay.
Is increasing that endorsement among staff.
Sure. Yeah, because I saw in the paper and it said, millions were going to be distributed. And then they had the list of all the districts that had received the funding. And there were some that did receive a sizable amount of money. But then for the most part, a lot received like $20,000.
Yeah, Dr. Perdomo actively sought out that grant for our district for this purpose.
Okay, perfect.
so when you say 75 staff, does that mean ESP and stuff, or is that just certified staff?
That's all staff.
All staff.
That's all staff.
So, but it includes like custodial and maintenance as well too, or?
Yeah, all staff.
Okay, so with 1,000 employees, we're replacing about 7%, 7.5%, 8% of our staff this year. Okay.
Mhm.
Mrs. Savage, I believe you're up.
All right, instruction. So we have a few things going on. We already heard about today's
Few
Institute
things.
Day, which we had every single ELA teacher working through their initial introduction to the new curriculum resources with the junior highs who are already a little bit ahead, but they still had some time with an actual rep to work through that. Coming up on April 22nd, we're going to have our BPAC meeting, but we're also going to connect that with a literacy open house event. So we usually get lots of parents that come to that meeting, but this is open to all families. And it's going to be here at the ad building. And we're going to have all of the resources laid out. And we're gathering feedback from families. We're going to be sharing webinars this week around our curricular resources in Spanish, Polish, and English with a QR code so that families can ask questions that we can then gather some more information to share out at that curriculum open house. And we also want to hear from families at that time what kind of events they need next year with our first year literacy. And we have some questions that we're going to be gathering from families when they come for that event. So we're looking forward to that. So that we're really excited. There's going to be a food truck. So there'll be food. Food is always good. AVID, you heard about AVID tonight. So we had our student presentation, which was amazing. This is our first year. It's a very, very successful implementation, but a lot of work and detail goes into AVID. So we're continuing to seek feedback. We actually get feedback from a program manager. They come to our district. They share some suggestions for us. And one thing that wasn't shared tonight, which I think is great, is that we've been doing some site visits to school districts that are AVID showcase schools to learn from them and hear their journey and make adjustments as needed based on how they're working through that process. So we're continuing to do that with AVID. It continues to be a high priority, and it's really bringing our junior highs together. Math year 2, continue our implementation. We are gathering data again through the process, student data. We always look at that, student performance data, as well as teacher feedback data, and working with the implementation team on suggestions to refine our year 3 goal. So we're bringing that back to our administrative team in a couple weeks to go through that and finalize our year 3 goal for math. So really making sure that we're really focusing on the needs because we are moving forward very well with math, and we want to make sure that that goal makes the most sense. Social science continue to be moving forward with social science currently piloting resources. They're going to continue to do that to the end of the school year and into the fall. Science will begin in the fall. World language is finalizing their pilots as well for Spanish for Spanish speakers, and French. And we probably will Dr. Bordomo will probably be bringing up something to the board in the next couple of months for discussion around our proposals for those curricular resources. Multilingual programming, we had our dual language family transition night from 5th grade to 6th grade last week. Thank you. We had 2 of you here with us that night, which was awesome. We were able to really walk through with parents what that programming looks like at the junior high. I shared all those slides for your awareness, and that is recorded and has been sent to all 5th grade families as well. And so we're working with the principals on contacting and making connections with families who requested meetings to discuss programming for their child. Last but not least, connects to our staffing plan is instructional coaching. As I shared in board updates recently, we have been really looking at making sure that we're utilizing that resource as best as we possibly can, looking at our rollout for literacy curriculum and the need for language acquisition. We're going to be focusing on specialized grade level bands with literacy and language coaches like a district team, while maintaining some for math because that's still a need, and increasing a couple in social emotional learning. So this was done through focus groups with staff, meeting with our coaches, so we came up with that plan. We're currently finalizing that as part of the broader staffing plan.
Good evening. I have two updates for student services and assessment, both related to strategic plan goal 2. The first is in student and staff well-being. We are in the process of planning for summer professional learning for our staff. We have several professional learning sessions that we offer annually as we build the capacity across the district. One of those is restorative practices. We bring in the International Institute of Restorative Practices to do a 4-day training with staff. So that will also be offered this summer, right as school ends. We have classroom climate and management planning and de-escalation strategies, which is a fantastic training that helps staff to recognize when others may be agitated or escalated and prevent conflict or resolve conflict effectively. We're also continuing some of our trainings that we started last year. And all of these trainings are based on the data that we see each year, the goals that we have going into next year, and front loading that learning relationship to our strategic plan. And we use information from coaching throughout the year and what staff are asking for and needing. So we are going to be continuing some sessions on intervention planning, on how to write great goals and design great intervention, and for IEP preparation with some make and take sessions for our special education staff. We'll also be adding CLR, continued learning. We've done a lot of work across the district in culturally and linguistically responsive teaching and learning, and we'll be offering some opportunities for coaching going into next year. So our summer learning will jumpstart that process. In addition, we've been working really hard with our intervention models for next year. As you know, we have additional staff allocated, and we have been doing some real digging into our intervention needs across our schools at different grade levels in different areas, and what skills we are needing to focus on most. That's helping us to design a model in which our elementary interventionists can specialize further than they have before. What I mean by that is our elementary literacy interventionists would be working with several grade level bands, but not all. So right now we have interventionists working with kindergarten through 5th grade students. That means they're learning different intervention programs and using different resources across various grades. By specializing, we're limiting the number of grades that they're working with, which makes the intervention more effective, more efficient, and stronger for our students. So that's something, one of the examples of the things that we're working on for next year as we think about staffing and how we can better support the needs of our students who need intervention. We are also looking at the skills that students have in common for math intervention and how it can be supported within the core curriculum. So we're finding a lot of students have common skill gaps that need to be filled, and we're looking at how we can support that in universal instruction. And finally, we're looking at different junior high models so that we can potentially give our students with the highest level of need in junior high a double dose of intervention. So lots of different ways we're looking at the intervention model for next year with added allocation to help us prepare for the most effective intervention possible.
Right, I'll share two very brief updates. One regarding video work that we are in the process of doing. So Dr. Robinson shared a thank you to our department, and really I don't deserve any credit for that she gave me. I appreciate it, but the lion's share of the work was really Mr. Sampson. He has done an incredible amount of work with our video, both with the AVID and with our multilingual program video that we are going to be sharing in the next week or two. So look for that to be coming out. Also, as we discussed previously, we're conducting an audit of our district website as well as our school websites. So we met last week with Floodlight Design. That's our website hosting company. They're partnering with us and helping us work through the pages on our site to see how are they optimized both for performance and for accuracy and content updates. So we're running through that process, not just at the district level, but also at the school level. So there are, as you know, many pages on both our district site and all of our school sites. So it takes some time to audit all of those, but we are in the process of doing that and making sure everything is up to date. And also just the way that our audience interacts with and navigates through our site. Is it intuitive? Does it make sense? Are things in the right place? So we're working through all of that, and we'll continue to provide updates as that project continues.
Good.
The last piece, the Finance and Facilities Committee, we're looking at an educational facility study. We're looking at an architect to evaluate the educational alignment between our schools and the curricular and instructional needs. We've talked a lot about making sure that our curriculum really hits hard and does well for all students. This is that opportunity. Now that we have the shell casing of the buildings taken care of, it would make things a lot easier now for us to look at the interiors. It's the next step to ensure that the district utilizes its space while being able to prepare for the future of teaching and learning. It's beyond the 10-year facility plan or health, life, safety. It's going to help drive communication between all stakeholders and ensuring that our facilities serve all curricular needs in the best interest of students. It focuses on safety and security, which we all know is unfortunately a topic that we have to worry about, as well as after school facility usage so that it can be part of the community. That's what our facilities should be about.
And this is going to be basically, we're going to concentrate on the junior highs right now. So it'd be, and Brentwood because of the overpopulation. But really, the focus of this right now is the 3 junior highs, because right now they're consistent. We're looking at, we're still looking at the whole thing, how to address the K through 5. So this is going to only look at the 3 junior highs and the overpopulation we have Brentwood.
So let's kind of clarify some things too. The architect is like, to contrast, we're not looking at like population studies like we did the first time around, right? We're just looking at the actual physical building space, the number of kids in the space, how it's currently used today.
Right. And like, for example, what does a real art room look like? When we talk about AVID, the type of programming, what would it entail to make it the most optimal use of space for our kids? And we're looking about it across the entire district. So the junior highs, it touches every child at one point. So that was a great, it's a good start. And then with Brentwood, it's another example of trying to see, okay, what are these spaces going to be used for? Because we already have a trailer out there. We might as well make sure it's utilized the right way.
And this is discussed in the facilities and finance committees.
Curricularly driven, which is pretty awesome.
And this architect has already been retained, or are we still exploring who to do it?
No, we are contracting with this specific architect. They actually just finished up some work, or they're currently working in Palatine. They helped with their referendum work and did educational alignment study for them, and have an area of expertise in this particular set of work.
And the district has not worked with this architect before?
No.
Okay. I just want to be out. I want to be transparent. I'm going to ask a lot of the questions. Just
to add transparent, I have worked with this particular architect firm in my previous work, and they came highly recommended as well through the work that they did with Palatine. And this is one of we're not contracted for anything other than the study. So it's an opportunity for them to engage with multiple stakeholder groups and really look at our buildings from a teaching and learning perspective and some future forward planning for our actual structures.
My question is, who chose this particular architect to do this job? Did you do that?
It was really through the facilities and finance committee.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's beautiful about it all, being teachers at heart, it's all curricularly driven. This isn't a matter of, hey, what are we going to do with, this is one of those, do our classrooms now, are they really 21st century? I mean, we can talk a big game all we want when it comes to curriculum. We'll talk about instruction, whatnot. But if Miss Savage and her team can't do their job because of the building, the building should be working for the kids. So that's what we're looking at.
No, and I agree, and I'm all for it. I'm just saying that ultimately, when we get to the point of making a decision, there may be folks that tune in for the first time because a decision is being made. But we want to say the effort, kind of like when I asked with the RFP, of the amount of effort, the amount of homework that goes into it, of facilities and finance has been discussing this since, X date. This is the amount of time. It wasn't just a 2-week decision.
And plus the big piece that Mr. Tiarina and I we were driven to was, and unfortunately this was what really sold us in a lot of regards, is the checklists that they provide us with the safety and security, as well as the recommendations based on their studies that they've done across the country. And that's the scary piece of our world, but that's big for us.
No, and it's always important to have fresh set of eyes that come in and say, why are you doing it this way? We'll have 6 new eyeballs next month. that, looking forward to seeing why do you do it this way and asking those kind of questions. So
And,
I'm all
and
for it.
for this architect firm, they're going to start looking at our schools. When would be an appropriate time for them to come here and kind of explain their process? Sometime this summer, maybe? Or
Yeah,
do
we could have
wait
them.
till they're-
I think it would be appropriate once our new board is seated so that they could ask
Mhm.
those questions. I think what's really important and something that you brought up, Robert, is that the focus of what's contracted for this is the study. So they will present data. They're not necessarily going to be providing recommendations. And I think that's a key piece. So we can really sit with it once we have the full picture to really look at, okay, what are our community priorities? Now that we have and then we can use the data to help decide, okay, how are we going to long-term plan for how we want to approach some of the solutions?
I guess the only thing that I want to caution us about is to not put too much emphasis on the facilities and so forth as far as education is concerned, because the worst facility in the world can be fabulous education if you have good teachers. And I think the most important thing is the teachers. And I just going back to my high school days, I had Miss Melnick for algebra. She was fantastic. I had another teacher who will remain unnamed for geometry my second year, who was horrible. She passed out the papers. She collected the papers. She didn't teach, period. And then I had another teacher, Mr. Craig, my junior year for advanced algebra, who was fantastic. So if you have good teachers, and if we are going around and saying, you're doing a great job, but I think it would be helpful if you added this or you changed this or something like that. I think that's more important than the building, the room, the whatever it is.
I don't disagree with you, Marty. I think the teachers are important, but if we can give them resources, even let them do their job better is what we're trying to do, accomplish right now. Give them better resources.
Maybe not. I don't think that it's that important.
I think that I totally
I
agree
have to
that
give
as
them-
teachers, but I will say the space in which the teachers teach matters to them.
Yes.
And it matters to what they're able to do with kids. It matters how many kids are able to
Surroundings,
fit.
yes, definitely.
Can they do small group or do they have to do everything whole group? How many kids can fit within those classroom spaces? Do I have a space that I can call my own where I can work with students? We have people in some closets right now where it's not, and I think that detracts from our ability to retain some of our staff to be and attract. So I think there's a careful balance. I totally agree. I think obviously we have a strong emphasis on our staff for sure, but to be able to keep our buildings at pace with what we want teachers to do with them, I think really makes a difference.
Yeah, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but even at Brentwood, I do not believe there's a staff lounge. I could be correct, right? So I mean, you think about that now. You put yourself in those shoes. Let's say your job takes away your staff lounge. What's your reaction to that? But it's we can't just take that for granted here of saying, well, they'll make do. No, that's unacceptable. So it's important to look at the space.
Right, and I would say from the presentation the architects gave, they'll talk to the teachers as part of this process. It's they're going to be looking for where are these holes, because I know we have interventions that take place in hallways in some schools because you have a large need at that school, but you don't have enough small intervention rooms, sort of thing.
And to keep it, and another big piece of it is with the variants with displays, they want to see action. They want to see what you're going to do to make sure that there is a current learning environment where you can have a mobile, because right now we don't have one past October.
Sure.
So, I mean, this is our job, is to make sure that we give the best opportunity for kids.
And I'll add to just even, for example, our junior highs, looking at the parity across the schools. What classes and opportunities do some of our students have at some of our buildings because of the physical space, while other students don't have those same opportunities because of the space at their buildings? And that is one of the aspects that they'll look at, just to ensure that we really are looking, kind of from a parity perspective, so for student opportunities.
Sure.
Item 10.0, new continuing business and announcements.
I'll just say congratulations on the elections to our newly appointed board members. They will be joining us in May, and we look forward to welcoming them and to thanking our outgoing board members for all of their service.
Item 11.0, special interest topics, Mr. Vittori.
The district received 4 FOIA requests since the last report to the board. 2 of those requests asked for information that's available on our website, so we simply shared those links with them. The other 2 requests were treated as true FOIA requests and documents were sent.
Item 12.0, reports of the Board of Education.
You want to go, Joe?
I'm going to bring up NSCO, but that's your.
Oh, NSSEO, yeah, we had the NSSEO most recent board meeting. We had a reception for the incoming superintendent, Dr. Meg Schnur, who will be starting shortly, and got to meet some of the board presidents as well as some of the superintendents in the area, that sort of thing.
Where did the new superintendent come from?
Palatine, yeah.
Palatine.
Yeah.
He was a Palatine.
She was a Palatine assistant super for,
Oh, she's also
yeah.
and she's also 214 as well too.
Okay.
So from the area, knows the area, I believe, raised in Elk Grove.
Okay.
Conant student.
Hopefully you did a good job.
Yeah. And then Randy and I visited Juliet Low since the last meeting, and that completed, I toured every single school this year. That's since the last meeting, yeah, right? And we got to sit in on some interesting stuff, including a Wilson Foundation's intervention, which was really cool, where the students were sounding out the syllables in the word complex, and they knew it was consonant, vowel, consonant. Oh, that's the end of a syllable, and then working that out. That was really cool to see.
My literary skills because of that.
My spelling would be much better had I had such knowledge.
But it was actually seeing how they're discussing the breakdown of the word and how they talked about it. And it was a small group. You can see how that it was actually nice. That was the first time we really got to sit in a couple intervention. We got to sit in a couple intervention classrooms going on. And it was nice to see, 2 and 3 kids interacting with a single staff member, and you can see how the improvements are being made.
Real fast, and again, thank you for I've listened in on the dual language transition night, and I provided some feedback, and thank you for asking for that. I do appreciate that. I want to take what our AVID students said today when we do these events of just finding the way for our parents to just be a little more confident to ask those questions. So figuring out the ways that we can get that 2-way communication in with the parents. So the BPAC event, great opportunity for that as well, just to keep growing on it and getting more parents to see what happens during the school day and what new changes are being approved here every month that impacts and benefits their students. So it was a great night.
All right. Can I get a motion to go to closed session?
I'll make the motion. Be it resolved that on the 10th day of April 2023, the Community Consolidated School District 59 Board of Education recess in a closed meeting for the discussion of, as presented in A, B, C, and D in this motion.
I'll second it.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Mr. Mancia.
Aye.
Ms. Petrielli is absent. Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Sager, aye. Ms. Schumacher.
Aye.
Mrs. Spino.
Aye.
And Ms. Lang is absent. And the